Eggnog shortbread cookies. My list of cookies that I want to bake by Christmas seems to be growing longer and longer every year around the holidays. I enjoy cooking some of our family's traditional dishes as well as a few new ones. I am aware that I could always bake them throughout the year, but there's just something particularly wonderful about baking for Christmas. This year, I wanted to get a head start on my holiday baking, so I made eggnog shortbread cookies while the Christmas tree is almost set up. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Cookie and today's video is all about the most delicious eggnog cookies that you probably haven't ever come around, especially when considering homemade ones. So, are you ready to bake with me? Let's get started then. Well, I think the eggnog shortbread cookies are the perfect seasonal treat. A simple spice shortbread cookie and some eggnog icing combine to create a fantastic holiday treat that you'll want to make every year. Yeah, I know many of you think that eggnog is just for drinking, so what does it have to do with cookies? But it's not just for drinking, guys. I agree it makes such a traditional holiday beverage and tastes great when you consume it in moderation. But when it comes to cookies, I just can't stop myself from using as much as possible. Trust me guys, these eggnog shortbread cookies will be popular at your holiday party, cookie exchange, or even just for you and your family to enjoy this season. The secret behind the taste of these cookies comes simply from the addition of cinnamon and nutmeg to the shortbread cookie dough, and when it is iced with the incredible eggnog liqueur icing, you just can't stop yourself from eating them. And let me tell you, people will keep asking you to make it every year because of the perfect balance of sweet icing and buttery cookie. So guys, here are all the ingredients I'll be using to make these cookies. For cookie dough you'll need 1 cup, which is approximately 227 grams of salted butter, make sure it is softened. Then you'll need 3/4 cups or 90 grams of powdered sugar, and for a good aroma, you'll need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You'll also need 2 cups, which is equal to 282 grams of all-purpose flour. Then we have 1 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg here. And lastly, half a teaspoon of cinnamon will also go into these cookies. For the icing, you'll need 1 cup or 120 grams of powdered sugar, and the most important ingredient is eggnog liqueur. We'll use 7 teaspoons of that here. It's essentially a festive version of the basic slice and dice shortbread cookie recipe. When shopping for this recipe, I do have some advice for you below. Cinnamon is something that you can simply go out and find. Sullen cinnamon is pretty common. Talking about the nutmeg, you can use wholly, freshly grated nutmeg whenever possible. Also, if you don't already have a microplane grater, you'll need to purchase one. Let's get into it. Nutmeg that has been pre-ground doesn't keep its flavor well. Comparatively speaking to freshly grated food, it easily tastes like nothing. Spend money on the whole nutmeg and if necessary, a microplane grater, and live the fresh nutmeg life. And even though the initial cost may seem a bit high, buying the whole nutmeg is a small investment in your baking that you won't regret. Now, when it comes to eggnog, there are tons of options. There are non-dairy alternatives, homemade variants, and liqueurs. I recommend using boozy eggnog for this recipe. I like how it gives the eggnog icing a bit of the boozy bite. If you don't have a Trader Joe's nearby, there are a few other alcoholic brands in stores during the holiday season. And if you're simply not a fan of eggnog that contains alcohol, or perhaps none of your party guests consume, then simply purchase a brand of eggnog that isn't alcoholic and experiment with it in the icing recipe. Just make an effort to get the icing to the right consistency for your decorating requirements. Let's grab our bowls and start mixing all these ordinary ingredients to make some extraordinary cookies. Method. So, we'll take this large bowl here and one by one add our ingredients. First, I'll add the softened butter so that it gives that perfect creamy texture when we mix it with the powdered sugar. Okay, now I'll just add the powdered sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now with the electric mixer, I'll beat these 3 ingredients together on medium speed for about a minute or until the mixture just starts to become light and fluffy. Now goes our 3 major ingredients, which include cinnamon, nutmeg, and flour. I'll just add them one by one. You don't want to rush with the dry ingredients because otherwise it will get hard to get all of the lumps. So here goes the cinnamon, and then goes the nutmeg. I'll gradually add the flour in now. Okay, so we're done adding the flour as well. Just beat on a low speed now for about 3 minutes or until the dough just begins to come together. Now you see the dough has formed perfectly. It looks soft and foldable. Perfect. Now I'll roll the dough in a log by turning it out onto a lightly dusted surface. I think we'll be able to make 2 logs. So I'll just divide this into 2. So just to make this simpler for you, I'm going to guide you with the measurements. Each half of the dough should be formed into 6-inch logs. The important thing here is refrigerating it. You need to refrigerate the dough for at least 2 hours, and if you have time, I recommend you do it for 2 days. Also make sure you wrap them in parchment paper before refrigerating them. Like this, I've wrapped them and they're ready to go in the fridge. So, 2 hours are gone and I have aligned 2 baking sheets in the oven, and I'll just let it preheat to 350 degrees while I shape the cookies. So, I'll just slice each log into 1/4 or 3/4 inch thick slices. It will make quite a reasonable amount of cookies for everyone to enjoy. Now, I'll one by one arrange them on the baking sheets evenly. You see, we have got 40 cookies here. These cookies take a bit longer to bake, so expect a baking time of 14 to 16 minutes. If you see the bottom edges of the cookies turning golden brown, then just remove them from the oven. I'll let them cook here on the cooling rack, and in the meantime, let's make the icing. Now, I'll just add the powdered sugar and eggnog liqueur in a bowl and thoroughly combine them to turn these 2 ingredients into amazing icing. According to the requirement, you can add more liqueur or powdered sugar because our objective here is to achieve the right consistency for icing the cookies. Now, I love icing them. They look so pretty after that. Start by spreading the icing evenly over the cookies. I'll just use half a teaspoon on each cookie. And you can be as creative with these as you want. If you want, you can garnish them with luster dust or other decorations. What I really love about these cookies is the fact that making these cookies ahead of time is totally possible. Such a triumph, especially with the hectic holiday schedules. You can make the dough 3 days before you want to serve these cookies. Just follow the directions for the recipe up until you chill the dough. It should be tightly wrapped and chilled. The well-wrapped dough can be frozen for up to 3 months and chill it as you normally would, ensuring that it maintains its shape. It freezes up beautifully. Let the shortbread thaw overnight in the refrigerator or for about 1 hour on the counter before baking it. Just enough thawing is required for the dough to be able to cut into slices while still being cold. Thank you for staying with me. I hope you really enjoyed baking with me. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel on your way out. See you next time with another amazing recipe. Until then, bye!